Chris Morgan in Sky 4. And
now there's another location up in Macomb County where a speed enforcement zone is set up. We'll show you where that is coming up at 6:15. We're in Dearborn Heights. All over Metro Detroit, crackdown on speeders. Let's go over and say hi to Deputy Joe Bosick, who has a nifty-looking radar gun. Morning, Joe.
Avenue. It's a tight squeeze, pretty claustrophobic anyway because of that construction zone where you're down to 2 narrow lanes. Now, of all things, there's a power line that's low slung across the roadway. In the right lane, it's only 6 feet off the ground. Good morning, Andrew. It's just amazing. All the traffic trouble spots that we've had yesterday and today have been on that Brighton to Novi trip east and westbound on I-96. And that's the story again today. Take a look at the instant traffic camera. This is I-96. The ground.
Good morning, this is Chris Morgan live in Sky 4 over the east side of Detroit, where a house is fully engulfed on Theodore Street in the Gratiot-Warren area near City Airport. As you can see, Detroit's fire crews are on the scene. They have just started putting water onto the flames here. Some of that smoke is turning from black to white, so they are getting the situation under control, although the one side of the house that you can see is still fully engulfed. But again, a house fire here on the east side of Detroit, the Gratiot-Warren area near City Airport on Theodore Street. Live in Sky 4 over the east side, Chris Morgan, Local 4. Good morning, Beth. This is I-75, the Fisher Freeway northbound, right at the curve at Michigan Avenue. It's our rolled over box truck semi with carpeting inside. Now, initially, we thought that they would have to offload that carpeting before they could get this semi back in its wheels, but you see that yellow patch under the belly of the semi. Those are the airbags that these wrecker drivers who are like surgeons will use to inflate the semi, get it back in its wheels, so they may go for it just because we're in the middle of rush hour and not offload the truck. In the meantime, 75 northbound is closed at Michigan. You're forced onto the westbound Jeffries, which is also down to 1 lane because of the construction zone at I-75. So here's what you can do. Take 96 to 94 across the downtown interchanges and back to 75 north. In the meantime, this is backed up all the way to Livernois.
Information. Let's go to Captain Chris Morgan, who is live in Sky 4 right now over the scene. Chris?
And Robin, this is the northbound M39 Southfield Freeway just before Hubbard. That's halfway between Michigan Avenue and Ford Road in Dearborn. You will be forced onto the service drive. Now, because traffic volumes are still relatively light, you can use the service drive as an alternate. The volume is building on the southbound side with folks heading into Dearborn, but that is starting to back up from the Jeffries. So as we get into the thick of the rush hour, you will be able to use Evergreen or Greenfield as alternates to get around this accident. Take a look at the damage. You can't really call it damage. It's more like total destruction. We're hearing that a driver came the wrong way down the northbound Southfield Freeway and had a head-on collision. Obviously, firefighters still working to extricate a person that's in that red car. And take a look down the road here. The U of M survival flight, the chopper has landed on the freeway, but it's currently powered down, so they're in a standby mode. We'll have further updates coming up. Live in Sky 4 over Dearborn, Chris Morgan, Local 4. Good morning, this is Captain Morgan live in Sky 4 over Livonia at Laurel Park Place Mall. Lots of bleary-eyed shoppers after a big Thanksgiving dinner and lots of coffee flowing freely so that folks can grab all of the big holiday bargains. Busiest shopping day of the year. We're live in front of Parisian here off of 275 at the Laurel Park Place Mall. Look at that parking lot. It is jam-packed. You see the cars driving up and down the aisles just trying to find one open parking space so they can take advantage of all the great deals that are happening right now. Live in Sky 4 over Livonia, I'm Chris Morgan, Local 4. Now let's check in with my colleague. The I-275 northbound just before 6 Mile Road, north of the I-96 M14 interchange. Double-bottom tanker truck, presumably hauling oil. Looks like a black gooey substance down there. The pup trailer is blocking the 2 left lanes. The tanker is in the median. Then we have the car over here. Folks are still walking around this vehicle, so there could be somebody trapped inside based on all